Hi guys, welcome to Coach Treks. I'm Mrs. Coach and this is Coach.
And today we're going to show you a video that includes cliff divers, the cave of the devil, dolphins, mermaids, and other naked people, and a man of many hats. Not me, by the way. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of our adventures in Mazatlan, Mexico. To put this video in a little perspective, we had just left the Liverpool area where we had visited the Beatles. And yes, I'm talking about John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And if you missed that video, happen to be a Beatles fan, you'll definitely want to head over to the playlist on the channel and check out that video. It's called The Birds and the Beatles. And we also, earlier on this same day, before we had shot the footage at Liverpool, we had been at the world famous Mazatlan Cathedral. And we had had breakfast and had successfully ordered speaking only Spanish because our waitress not only didn't speak English, but she didn't understand it either. And we did not use Google Translate. We were able to get by. And so it had been quite a day for us even before we got to this point. And we were just enjoying the views, the sea on one side, and some of this really interesting architecture and colorful architecture on the other side.
Very colorful. I mean, you can see they are so festive down there. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous the way they do their buildings.
So coming up on the left here, we have a mermaid and a fisherman's monument as well. And hey, you gotta like the mermaids, right? But anyway, right behind us is also right behind this is a slide, as you can see, a water slide that goes down into a saltwater pool, which happened to be closed. You can see the red tape on the very right of the screen, and that was the entranceway down to that saltwater pool. It happened to be closed on this day. We had walked many steps by this time, and it was not even lunchtime. And so it would have been nice to take a dip in a pool, but it wasn't to be at this particular location. As you can see, they have it all taped off, and kind of looks a little cruddy in there right now. So
looks like they were doing repairs on it.
Absolutely. But a beautiful view out over the seascape, as you can see. Very few clouds in the sky. There was a nice breeze coming through, and it was just a beautiful day in Mazatlan. And as we walk up the boardwalk a little further, we run into the first of a few men of many hats. And he offered me some smokes. I let him know that I don't smoke cigarettes. And
it was cigars, not cigarettes.
Or cigars, whatever. I don't smoke at all. And so I let him know that didn't need anything that he had. But just like everybody else we ran into in Mazatlan, he was a very pleasant fella.
Mm-hmm.
And you may notice here on the screen the big hole in the sidewalk there. We saw that in a few places. Not really. This was the only place I can remember on the Malecon that had that going on. But some of the other public sidewalks just throughout town, there were definitely places you needed to watch your step, or you may go for quite a tumble.
And as you can see up on the right where the hill is, the buildings up there, you can see the walkways. It's amazing that they can get that kind of buildings up on a hill. I know it doesn't look like it's a steep hill, but when you're standing next to it, it is way up there.
Yeah, definitely some restaurants and other businesses straight across the street from us. I will drop captions on the screen to tell you guys about some of these statues that we're passing. And, as you can see, it's really not very crowded here at this particular area that we're at. That will change as we get just a little further up the road where the cliff divers are. That area was very crowded. There were tour buses in from the cruise ships that were in Mazatlan on this day. And quite a few people we had to fight our way through. I did cut a lot of that out of the footage because I didn't think you guys wanted to watch us just move through a bunch of people, but tried to keep in the good parts and show you some of the artwork along the Malecon here. And those houses are definitely way up there. I'm sure the view from up there is incredible as well. And one of my favorite statues as we come up this way, this is not a mermaid though, because she has no tail. She's got legs.
When mermaids are on land, they don't have a tail. They have legs.
I have not studied mermaids. I don't really know. But in any case, this is a pretty cool sculpture, and she appears to be pretty fit. She's even got some definition around the ribs there. So you got to give credit to whoever does these sculptures. In all seriousness, they are quite talented.
Yes.
I couldn't do anything like that. I can't even draw a stick man on paper. So, as you notice, the coastline here is very rocky, and that'll come into play in just a minute when we see the cliff divers. But what is this, Miss Coach?
That is the Cave of the Devil.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know what's in there because it's locked, but Cave of the Devil, nevertheless. Another man of many hats. And on this little podium that you see in the middle of the screen, up on top of that little rock formation, there will be a cliff diver. There he is. He's already been there at this point for some time, and he did his Hail Marys. And he stood there in this position for probably close to a minute. And I cut some of that out just to keep the video a little shorter. But eventually, he's going to go. There he goes. And while I admire what he just did, I don't think that's the hard part. The hard part's coming up, because you can see these waves coming in and beating this poor fellow to death. It seems like it's going to take him a few minutes to get back to the rocks so he can climb up. And you'll see a pretty good-sized wave here in a few minutes that takes him into those rocks pretty fast. And, I don't know how you avoid getting hurt in a scenario like that, but probably a lot of practice, I guess.
They have got a lot of nerve to stand up there and jump off of that into water that you have no idea what it's going to do. You're at the mercy of the waves that come in.
Yes, as you can see, he just swims and swims, but he makes no progress. And then all of a sudden, this one comes, and there he goes, right into the rocks. And I would imagine he's got quite a bit of scrapes and cuts and other injuries from that over the years, but he's probably got a lot of calluses now, I would imagine, too, from climbing up those rocks like that every day. And those three islands in the background are the same three islands that you can see from our Airbnb. And if you haven't seen that video from the Airbnb, I would recommend you go over to our channel and watch that as well. This area has some little vendors and some more artwork along the way. And then right behind it, more buildings on a cliff, which in this part of town seem to be pretty common. Mm-hmm. And as we move a little further down, we're going to come across something that you may recognize, this particular piece of art here, from our channel intro. I used some of the video that I shot here when we created the channel intro. And again, some more statues of the human form, which in Mexico they don't seem to have any issues with. And hey, I can respect that. I've never understood the United States, how will I say this, the puritanical type of view that some of us, not me or Miss Coach, but some of us in the United States seem to have about nudity. It's how we're born, and it's a natural state. And for some reason, it seems to be a huge, huge problem for a lot of Americans. I don't know if it's that way in your country. And I'll say that way because about 55% of our views as of this morning on our channel are from countries outside the United States. And we would love for your feedback, your comments. Let us know what the view on nudity is in your country. And let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to know that as well.
I think with Mexican culture, they just show the beauty of human nature and the human form. I think that's what they depict when they do these statues. It's just the pure beauty.
Yeah, I think we both know people that, even just this type of artwork, which is not in any way sexualized, would still be a big, big problem for some people that we know. But anyway.
But everybody has a right.
Everybody can believe the way they want to believe, that is for sure. They just, when you are very closed-minded about topics, you tend to miss out on enjoying a lot of good things in life. That's just my opinion.
You're here to appreciate the culture. That's what you're here to do.
That's right. You guys can see, again, just all this part of the beach is very rocky. And again, mermaid with quite a bit of rib definition. Nice abs. Hey. Anyway, we are getting a little close to the end of the video here, and I wanted to take a minute just to invite you guys to subscribe to our channel. We would appreciate it if you would give a thumbs up, and also click the bell. And there's a reason for clicking that bell, Miss Coach.
If you don't ring the bell, you won't know when we post new content.
That's right. So there's a little park with the MZT sign you can see, and that's just the airport code for Mazatlan. You can see construction going on in the background there. And we walked way, way down this stretch and even further, and we'll bring more footage of our adventures in Mazatlan to you on the next video. For now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
On Coach Treks.